Hello everyone, and welcome to today's review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know everything comics all the time. Not going to happen. I do know a little bit about Miles Morales, who is the basis of this Spider-Man film. And long story short, he is a half Puerto Rican, half African American resident of Brooklyn. I don't know if they're called Brooklyners, Brooklynites. I don't know. I just know that's what he is. And he eventually gets bitten by a genetically altered spider and becomes Spider-Man. Now this is a different spider than the one Peter Parker gets bit by, so he has different powers and abilities as to what Peter has. In this film, Miles is voiced by Shameik Moore, and his mentor of Peter Parker is voiced by Jake Johnson, along with Haley Steinfeld playing Spider-Gwen as we know her in the comics, Mahershala Ali as Miles's uncle, Aaron Davis. The main cast is rounded out with Brian Tyree Henry as Miles's dad, Jefferson Davis Morales. If you've seen trailers or commercials for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you'll know that Miles and Gwen and Peter are not the only Spider-Man in this film. We also have John Mulaney as Peter Porker, I believe he's the sensational Spider-Ham. Basically, he's a cartoon pig who is his universe's Spider-Man. If I remember right, he was bitten by a radioactive pig, I think. That one was always weird. It also has Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, who is from essentially the 1930s. The final Spider-Man is Kimiko Glenn as Penny Parker, who is from a futuristic New York, whose radioactive spider lives in a robot that her dad built. And the main villain, it actually kind of surprised me. I didn't know that it was going to be Kingpin, because I thought his rights were strictly with Daredevil and not with anywhere near Sony's Spider-Man. But as he is a villain in the comics, he for Spider-Man and Daredevil, he comes in here as the main villain, and here he is voiced by Liv Schreiber. Throughout the film, we have Miles drawing heavily on music to calm him down, to help him focus. And with Miles being in Brooklyn and with his heritage, you have a lot of hip-hop. There is at least one Notorious B.I.G. song in there that felt right. It felt true to the character, and it just kind of got you thumping along and moving along. The other main point that I want to mention here is the animation style. Each universe has its own style. They even go so far as to make jokes about it. Peter and Gwen and Miles all kind of have the same standard animation style, kind of that 3D computer animated style that you're used to seeing. Peter Porker, the Spider-Ham, looks more traditionally animated, like he's been hand-drawn. There's even at least one joke about it. There is Spider-Man Noir, who is all black and white. There's a joke with Spider-Man Noir where his cape is flapping while they're underground, and he's just like, the wind follows me. It's funny and very enjoyable. And Penny Parker also has her own complete style from being in a future New York, but she is drawn more anime style, more of that traditional Japanese style. Sony Animated Studios put out this film, and it was a blast. I had so much fun laughing and just seeing all the hidden Easter eggs in the background, and there are a lot. I shouldn't have been surprised, but with the recent passing of Stan Lee, I was surprised to see that he does have a cameo in this film, and it touched my heart to the point that I kind of went, yeah, that fits. That's perfect for the man who created Spider-Man. And while we're talking about Spider-Man's creators, Miles being created by Brian Michael Bendis, Bendis even has a, not necessarily a cameo, but he does have an Easter egg to himself. You feel like this universe is lived in, like we've seen his exploits before, and they make the whole art style together comic booky. It's enjoyable. I had a blast with it, and I think it is a great film. It was a film that I didn't expect to see out of Sony after Venom and previous Spider-Man films. It's fun and it made me laugh, and the animation style, there's no blood. There's like, when you're reading a comic book and you kind of see like a tap, and it's got those squiggly lines through it coming out of it, it does that. So you don't necessarily have to hear everything, but you know something's going on. I won't give away the rest of the stylistics that they go with, but it was one that touched my heart and it made me happy to see. When you look at it from a family film, this is a family film. There is no swearing, there is no blood. It's got things that touch you in ways that you don't anticipate. There's one point where they go to say Spider-Man's, essentially his mantra, and they gets cut off saying, "Don't you dare finish that line." I don't remember if he said you don't have the right to that line or something to that effect, but it was touching and enjoyable. I would recommend this film for children of all ages. I mean, there is violence, but you can see that it's cartoony violence and that it's meant to just kind of put Miles through his origin, and it was a fun ride to see this film. I again recommend it for everyone, and I recommend seeing it in the biggest screen that you can see it. See it in that IMAX format and just immerse yourself into this world. If you've seen it, let me know. If you haven't, tell me why you haven't seen it yet, if you're looking forward to seeing it. But go ahead and leave comments below. Start that conversation and let's enjoy Spider-Man together. And until next time, have a great night.